Managerial skills and roles. Management covers each and every aspect of running a business, and thus requires managers to possess different skills to take effective decision. These skills that are essential for better management and for successfully running a business are often termed as managerial skills. According to Professor Robert Karts, there are 3 managerial skills, viz. Conceptual skills, human relations skills, and technical skills. All managers requires above 3 managerial skills. However, the degree of these skills changes, from level of management and from an organization to organization. Managerial skills. Most important ones. Conceptual skills is the ability to look at the bigger picture and visualize the organization in broader sense. It needs creativity of the managers to visualize the future and anticipate changes in the environment. This leads managers to concentrate more on the problem rather than wasting time with the symptoms. With this skills, managers are able to plan for the whole organization and decide on the direction towards the common goal. According to Professor Karts, conceptual skills are mostly required by the top-level management because they spend more time in planning, organizing and problem-solving. Human relations skills, also called interpersonal skills, is the ability to work with people or ability to relate with people. It helps the managers to build better working relationship with other people. With proper understanding and communication, it also helps the managers to lead, guide, motivate and develop team spirit. All levels of management need human relationship skills as every manager has to interact with other people and work as a team to achieve common organizational goals. A technical skill is the knowledge and ability to perform a particular job. The lower level of management mainly control the operational activities of an organization. The operations functions deals with process, procedures, techniques, etc. of performing a job. Also, at the operational level the workers uses different types of tools and machine. Thus, a lower-level manager must possess sufficient knowledge and understanding of these process, procedures, tools, machine etc. to manage operations. A proper understanding of these issues along with appropriate technical skills can thus ensure efficient and effective process at the operational level of an organization. Communication skills are required equally at all 3 levels of management. A manager must be able to communicate the plans and policies to the workers. Similarly, he must listen and solve the problem of the workers. He must encourage a free flow of communication in the organization. Manager must also communicate with the outer environment, to promote the organization, to receive feedback, etc. Administrative skills are required more at the top-level management. The top-level managers should know how to make plans and policies. They should also know how to get the work done. They should be able to coordinate different activities of the organization. They should also be able to control the full organization. Leadership skills is the ability to influence human behavior. A manager requires leadership skills to motivate the worker and get the work done. Leadership skills are required at all level of management, but the expected outcomes differs at each level. The manager at the top level is expected to provide leadership to the whole organization, whereas the lower level leader is expected to provide leadership at the operational level, floor or plant level. Problem-solving skills are also called the design skills. A manager should know how to identify a problem and to find out alternative solutions to it. This requires intelligence, experience, and up-to-date knowledge of the environment. Though problems are solved by all managers, but the problems they deal in differs at the levels of management. Any problem can have multiple solutions, but all solutions may not be feasible or appropriate for the organization. Hence it is the skill of the management to identify the best solution for any problem. Decisions-making skills. Managers at all levels require decision-making skills, though the domain and implication of outcomes differ. The management at the top level makes organizational level decisions. The middle level management takes decisions at the department or branch level, and the lower level management takes decision at the operational level. The top level's skills required at the top level is completely different, as decisions are made for future, that is long term, that requires lot of information, analysis and prediction. Whereas at the lower level the decisions are mostly on day-to-day operations and are quick and spontaneous. Decision taken should also be implemented appropriately, otherwise there is no meaning of taking decisions, and the success of an ideal manager lies in his or her ability to take appropriate decisions at appropriate time. The diagram here shows the managerial skills which are required by managers working at different levels of management. Managerial roles. Each level of management or position in the organization has certain responsibility and authority to perform certain job that collates finally in achieving organizational goal. And thus, managers at each level is expected to perform certain roles relating to his position, responsibility and authority. Henry Mintzberg in the late 1960s, after a careful study of executives at work, identified few roles performed by managers during the execution of the responsibilities. He defined 10 managerial roles, mainly dealing with people and interpersonal relationships. The 10 managerial roles are divided into 3 categories. The first category of interpersonal roles arises directly from the manager's position and the formal authority bestowed upon him. The second category of informational roles is played as a direct result of interpersonal roles, and these 2 categories lead to the third category of decisional roles. Interpersonal roles. Managers spend a considerable amount of time in interacting with other people, both within their own organization as well as outside. These people include subordinates, superiors, peers, suppliers, customers, government officials, and community leaders, and so on. All these interactions require an understanding of interpersonal relations and involve the following 3 major roles. Figurehead role. Manager acts as symbolic figureheads for the organization. Managers perform activities like greeting visitors, signing legal documents, attending a subordinate's family function, or speaking at public functions, etc. as social and legal responsibility. Though these duties are primarily of a ceremonial nature but are important for creating interpersonal relationship and representing the organization to the stakeholders. Leader role. The influence of the manager is most clearly seen in his role as a leader of the unit or organization. The manager must guide, lead, motivate and coordinate the activities of subordinates so that they perform better in achieving organizational goals. A manager has to constantly set examples for the subordinates, so that they respect and follow his directions. Liaison role. Organizations do not operate in vacuum, and they have constant contact with the external environment. Manager has to create network with the outside world and to maintain a cordial relationships with these network partners to obtain essential information about the external environment. Information and understanding of external environment include competition, changes in consumers' preferences, government policies, social changes, etc. are very important for the success of any business enterprise. In addition to that, managers also need to create networks within the organization to gather support for their proposals and decisions. Managers develop these contacts by attending meetings and conferences, business shows, informal personal contacts, etc. Informational roles. By virtue of his personal contacts, a manager emerges as a source of information about a variety of issues concerning the organization. In this capacity of information processing, a manager executes the following three roles. Monitor role. Managers constantly seek information from inside and outside the organization. Studying and analyzing these information helps manager in monitoring and understanding the internal and external environment in a better way. The information can be collated through published documents like magazines, periodicals, annual reports, through internet or through formal and informal personal networks. Managers have to constantly monitor the environment, as any favorable change is an opportunity and any unfavorable or adverse change is a threat for the organization. Disseminator of information role. Manager also perform an important function of transmitting valuable information to the junior management regarding decision taken at the top level or any changes in policies or other matters of the organization. This can be done through memorandums, phone calls, individual meetings and group meetings. Spokesperson role. A manager represents a unit and thus is a spokesman for his unit. He represents his unit to the other members in the organization and also to the outside world. Within the organization, he asks for additional resources or raises any other matter in behalf of his unit. A top-level manager represents or is a spokesperson of the organization to the outside world, whereas a middle-level manager represents his branch. The lower-level manager represents his factory or plant within the organization. Decisional roles. On the basis of the environmental information received, a manager must make decisions and solve organizational problems. In that respect, a manager plays four important roles. Entrepreneurial role. As entrepreneurs, managers are continuously involved in improving their units and facing the dynamic environmental challenges. They are constantly on the lookout for new ideas for product improvements or other improvement of business. They initiate feasibility studies, arrange for capital or other resources, ask for suggestions from the employees for ways to improve the organization. This can be achieved through suggestion boxes, holding strategy meetings with project managers and R&D personnel. Conflict handler. The managers are constantly involved as arbitrators in solving differences among the subordinates or the employees' conflicts with the central management. These conflicts may arise due to demands for higher pay or other benefits, or these conflicts may involve outside forces such as vendors increasing the prices, a major customer going bankrupt, or unwanted visits by governmental inspectors. Manager must anticipate such problems and take preventive actions if possible, or take corrective action once the problem arises. These problems may also involve labor disputes, customer complaints, employee grievances, machine breakdowns, cash flow shortages and interpersonal conflicts. Resource allocator role. The third decisional role of a manager is that of a resource allocator. The manager establishes priorities among various projects or programs and make budgetary allocations to the different activities of the organization based on these priorities. They assign personnel to jobs, they allocate their own time to different activities, and they allocate funds for new equipment, advertising and pay raises, etc. Negotiator role. The manager represent their units or organizations in negotiating deals and agreements within and outside the organization. They negotiate contracts with the unions. Sales manager may negotiate prices with prime customers. Purchasing managers may negotiate prices with vendors and so on. All these 10 roles are important in a manager's job and are interrelated, even though some roles may be more influential than others, depending upon the managerial position. For example, sales manager may give more importance to interpersonal role while the production manager may give more importance to decisional roles. The ability to recognize the appropriate role to play in each situation and the flexibility to change roles readily when necessary are characteristics of effective managers. Most often, however, the managerial effectiveness is determined by how well the decisional roles are performed.